Yeah.
Good song.
Yeah. Maia Bull began studying poetry in Greece on the Cycladic island Paros. Her first teacher was a Jewish New Yorker who translated the 7th century BC poet Archilochus. Greece and the ancient poets are a deep influence in her poems. Over the last few years, she also developed an interest in Jewish Galicia, the Polish and Yiddish literary divide, and the tragic fate of young intellectuals who believe Yiddish culture was worth saving from the destructive influences of poverty, migration, and assimilation. She found a soulmate in the avant-garde poet Devoyer Fogel, and has worked with translators and literary sleuths on 4 continents to bring to light her poetry. Please welcome Maia Bull.
So I should admit, I thought the reading started at 7, or I would have this printed. My Waldorf school reads dislike reading on the computer. But this first is called Ceres and Persephone. My mother was willing to make any bargain to keep me. When I told her I would learn the Cretan word for apricot, take the violin in hand and a horsehair bow with bells. At home, she can carry me past wasps and honey-scented caverns at bedtime, stop my arm from reaching for the flushed skin of fruit, and when I sleep, with hands curled gently between my legs, hush the sound of stone. But when I swim out from the wild greens called gypsy skirts, break the soft, wrinkled skin of the sea in Suya, all could be lost. The narrow night, the house rising uselessly. For I laze under the warm Libyan wind with a man, and finger where his sternum parts, curved and wide as though when he first played the drum as a kid, the soft cage of his ribs opened to make room for the white falling moon of the Persian daff. I listen to the hollow to hear if it crackles like dry husks of bread before they are soaked. Try to collect small white stones from the shore of his floating bones. Discover if there is an island occupied by amber animals in the shapes of instruments. Said a daff is this beautiful Persian drum. It's round, it kind of looks like the moon. And when they play it, they drop it a little bit. So it has this quality of like gravity as it falls. That's the drum. Suya is a village in the south, far, far south of Crete. And this next one is also set in a tiny village in Crete. The only place I know of where they peel their figs. They won't eat the skins. They think they're inedible. And they look at you like you're crazy if you try and eat them. In Crete, I want rough edges. To peel figs with a knife, drink village wine, and sit at a desk of heavy stone. I look out at cows grazing on dry thistle and licking the salty rocks, their eyes measuring the ripening pears. Through a window, figures in a house lean towards each other over their horsehair bows and lift full notes from hollow wood. I recognize you, swaying on the walnut branch over the river, where memory sleeps unsoundly between 2 moments in my life. Suddenly, all my desire is inside a picture old Picasso drew over and over at the end of his life, of Degas, a prostitute, and a horse, until he couldn't see the horse, though he put it there again and again. I've been working on some translations of these small Cretan poems that come from the feet of the White Mountains in Chania. They're really, really old. Probably, if they're, my theory is that they're imported somehow because these are really, really sophisticated poems that illiterate villagers are singing. And they're so old they kind of have drifted away from their authors. I think they probably came from some of the first Venetian contact with Crete. And none of them, as far as I know, have been translated. They are generally sung. They're couplets. They're sung very slowly, and they're set to different kinds of melodies, traditional Cretan melodies that don't have lyrics, and then they put the traditional Cretan lyrics to the melodies. So the singer can choose what poems. So these are some of the first renditions that I know of. They're called mantelades in English. In their ruined nests, the birds stay and sing. I am jealous of this, not of their flying. Their trees you are not destined to eat fruit from. Don't sleep in their shadow and take their sorrow. This is not one of them. Oh, horse, where is your soul? Is it at the edge of your body? Does it walk, belly low, in the gold field like I do? I is a word in my mouth, is a word I cry. I am not where my life is. One should die of natural causes, never from drowning in the sea, but I am at the edge of my body, and I am wasting away. There Sebastian kneels deeply in the field, and Hamlet, his question like a slender chimney rising like crushed violets in wine, the smoke of soil. Field is a word in my mouth, I cry with my body at the edge of the sea. It is stone at the edge. The gold comes. What I feel always ends. Oh horse, where is your field? This poem doesn't even have words. Lo, Undra. Lo oak, anim lil undra. Uch, lil cedar, uch, O ambalambo, amvov, ur crane. Umis nas. Andambel, I ein kein, kuka oan, off im at. Yea? Illis lies door, im nacht, im bay. Indo sam wilk, el lil hut blau. Das ich aufblick lunt, al proch es sam in quevri. Nu usli o alt ik, ip ein ink ears ent. Gneis I int amb undra gust im alt at. Ich und dia licht unger. Otherwise known as the Low Country. If you think of me at the golden windowsill in Germany, with light continuously sinking into chanterelles, where you fed me cardamom coffee and where I sit on the sea chest, remembering you privately. I recognize myself only lying down again and again in the salt flats. Kyoto wrapped me in green. I was swept away down the Uji River with you to a valley like Wachau, past Uji Dawara to Asamya. And if I imagine lying still on this reed mat beside you and close my eyes, I feel humidity climb the rice paper wall. Kitanu no mujashi is thick as fabric. Kyoku no mukashi, gold as dry straw. Tokusen gyokuru, cultured butter, an empty cup of sage honey. Every place is two places, and where my mind dwells is itself a distant place. Begonia Rouge. This poem is about the memory that comes with wine, with drinking wine, and the grape Pinot Noir that can be used for so many different, in so many different countries. It's made into Burgundy in France, Spätburgunder in Germany, and that correlation of place. I mistook you for Germany, for a park at night in June, when I wanted to be there, under high windows full of dried flowers, I drank Burgundy, looking through dry hills and dry oak and white clay. I don't know if this wine is innocent, because I taste dry leaves and memory in it. Blackberry stems, tart plums, and smoke. And when I crept down to walk Coronerstrasse, clutching cardamom coffee to my breastbone. It might be this thin-skinned grape, fermented in France and Germany, that bends night through the long oak leaves. Or one life dying into the next, as summer ends and the blackberries begin to ripen. I swallowed Berlin, and for weeks haven't tasted it. Afraid all that will be left are pips and skins. On the windowsill where I abandoned small gold chanterelles to dry, I shove down in the oak leaves. Sleep between bowls and dream in German of the Minotaur and the horse of the night running like black wool from me through the must. No matter who you are, you remind me of Germany. This is the last part of the poems that all have to do with Coronerstrasse and chanterelles and cardamom coffee. It's called Mitzvane, which is the name of a grape in the Republic of Georgia, where they've been making wine for 1,000 years, unbroken vintages. And they have these beautiful native grapes that are fermented in these clay amphora that they bury underground. And they're fermented mostly with their skins and their stems. So the amber wine is this beautiful color, and it tastes more complicated than any other white wine I've ever tasted. You have these like deep levels of jasmine and apricot, things that you can't imagine in a wine. And it has this ancient tradition behind it. And of course, every place is two places. I came as far as the image allows, as though all that there was Mitzvane, the Pacific joined by a taut line of burnt honey to the Black Sea. In that sleepy place in Georgia, after we ate, while we tasted our wine, I remembered Renard's in the Wyeth Hotel, where we ate bread and drank through a field like this. After a time, I begin to feel there are trees in the field. And as the wine opens, the apples come out and grow sweet. The field is a park, and I become the park in June that doesn't know when I might have slipped down river stones to Coronerstrasse. So I did first learn to take poetry seriously on Paros, the island in Greece. And this is one of the first poems I ever wrote that I felt proud of in some way, because it was the first poem I felt actually said something about my relationship to these proper nouns, if you will, these places. And it's called White Cathedral. Paros, I know you only from the belly of a roaming whale. Myself, a body of widowed gold lying across its intestines, above a gulf of mussel shells, below a cathedral of bones. Under marble we drifted, a double hollowness. In the dark salt of Archilochos I lay, and swallowed memory like plums that wait in the dark for the bull that achieve their pleasure before he comes. One long night, beneath Paros, resin seeped from the wool Pasiphae hoarded as the white bull mounted her in a wooden cow and she fell through the rock rows and passed. I drank with you 1998 Chaminade Beaujolais and ate charred herbs and steak. As the breastbone keel of a whale broke midmost from the flight of wines, one wrecked and blousy heaven that grew between us like the phantom scent of burnt oil. So the end will not be a kind of memory, looking from the labyrinth below, but a sweet gold plum, finally accepted instead of salt.